Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Marius and the Mirrors. Today we're deep diving into the existential fear of not achieving greatness, that nagging anxiety that haunts many of us. We'll explore why the obsession with legacy is often just ego, and why true impact might be simpler and more intimate than we imagine.
Welcome to Marius and the Mirrors, the show where we explore our fears. He appreciates all likes, comments, and shares. Now please welcome to the show, Marius.
I want to talk to you about the fear of never achieving anything. Now, this fear in me stems from my childhood dreams of becoming a famous rapper, becoming a famous actor, becoming a famous author, and doing something or saying something, creating something that would outlive me. Because if you create something very special, then essentially you'll live longer than your own life. For example, if Eminem was to die today, the whole world would react, and he would never be forgotten. Or that is at least what we like imagining. We'll have to see what people remember in 1,000 years from now, but you get my point. And I kind of come from a household of achievers. My father was a very successful man, and my mother was a really skilled artist. My grandparents had achieved a lot of stuff. This concept of achievement has been there for a while throughout my life. And also just being a part of Western society, achieving things is something we all at some point in our lives think about, right? And sadly, in my case, it has turned into this anxiety, this fear of never achieving anything, which is bogus. And this is what I want to talk to you guys about today. This concept of failing at life because you didn't do anything big enough. It's a bogus idea. I think because everyone who has something to do with anyone achieves something throughout their lives. Either that is a good thing or a bad thing. And most of us achieve a lot of stuff throughout our lives. But not those things will be remembered for forever. But still, I mean, most people don't get remembered forever, and how the hell would that actually matter if death is just death? I think we're all equal in death. I think Eminem is just the same as me when it comes to dying. Not for the rest of the world. Sure, the rest of the world are going to care much more if Britney Spears dies than if I die, but essentially we're as equal as it gets in death. I think if she's going somewhere, I'm likely gonna go somewhere as well, and if not, then we're both heading towards an ever-ending nothing, and there's nothing to actually be scared of about that. And I don't mean to scare you guys, I'm just saying that notion of having to achieve so much, it's just bullshit. It's just ego, and it's just Western society wanting you to be a part of consumerism, either on the creation side or the consuming side of this. I want to be an actor. I want to blah 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 blah. I want to be in commercials so that everyone sees me. Why would you need that? No one needs that. No single person needs to be remembered by every single human on earth. And it's not going to make any difference. Eternity is here and now. That here and now is the only thing that really exists. And right now there's an eternal outwards and an eternal inwards, meaning there's something infinitely big and there's something infinitely small existing in this time span. And that's the only thing that really exists. The future is an idea, and the past is the same thing. And we humans have the ability to visualize the future and the past, and many of us have a tendency to get more stuck on both of these ideas than we are on the actual life we're living, which in some cases can be a great thing, like when we have to provide for ourselves. This can be a very positive frame of mind, but when it comes to being nice to yourself and having clean mindset and a healthy perspective on life, being an overachiever is not particularly healthy. When it comes to achieving, the thing that I'm gonna be most remembered for is how well I treated the people closest to me and how they felt when they were with me. Not whether or not I spewed out all of my own ego onto them and whether or not they respect me for doing something, but rather or not how they felt when they were around me. That is what I'm really gonna get remembered for. And that's true for most of us. So my daughter is going to remember me much more fondly for sitting down and actually listening to her and being with her and being present with her than me forcing down her throat how many things I've achieved throughout my life. You know what I mean? And I think that applies to anyone. And I think that all of us have missions in life. Those missions aren't necessarily things that feel super nice all the time, but you know you have to do it, and it's kind of like this golden rule that is universal: be to others how you wish they are towards you. For example, me becoming a math teacher is because I grew up hating math. And when I finally became a teacher, I always thought from the second I left college, man, I should teach math because I hated math when I was a kid, and I could probably help some kids who hate math. It's not because I so profoundly loved mathematics, but it's kind of like it felt like a mission to me, right? And that's where we make those impacts that matter the most to ourselves and our own egos. And many of those things are painful and they're sacrificial in nature. I also felt I had to teach some of the stuff that I've learned through all of the years of making music. Same thing applied. It was kind of a painful process. I met a lot of assholes in that process who just wanted to bring me down, but it had a sort of sacrificial nature to it where I felt like I have to give this to mankind. And it sounds really egotistical and stupid when I say it like that, but that kind of fed my ego. And not like when I think about feeding my ego in these ways also to myself, is not necessarily a positive thing in terms of me feeling super good about doing it always. But maybe it's all about using your potential to do something good for other people. And it's not something that's necessarily going to last forever. What makes humanity great is our ability to lift one another up and help each other, create something together, which is fantastic. There's so much to this human experience that is just fantastic and amazing. And how often do I think about who actually made 90% of the stuff that make up my life and that lets me live in this day and age at all? For example, I'm just looking around me here, and who even created the first computer? Who made that possible? Who made it possible for me to say these things to you so that you maybe get less anxiety and spread this message all across the globe? There's a ton of people that we don't necessarily remember the names of who felt that way, that they had to give this thing to humanity, and not because it was going to make them feel fulfilled. I don't think that will ever feel fulfilled. I think that is a bogus, stupid thing to dream of, but I do think that if you give yourself a mission in life, you're going to feel better about many of the things you actually do. The mission mindset is very important in my opinion, and the mission, as I see it, is giving something to the rest of humanity. That might be my daughter, it might be the students I teach, it might be this podcast series, or it might be the next YouTube channel that I make. I don't know what it is, but it is that inner drive to give something. Now, some of it is things that I'm gonna make money off of and that I'm going to enjoy, while other things are just sacrificial in nature. Meaning me or you sacrificing ourselves for a greater cause than us. And no one lives forever, no one. That be Jesus, that ever you could think of, Mozart. We might remember them today, but they're not gonna live forever. I don't think so, at least. Because what is forever? Forever is forever and beyond. and our tiny little human brains can barely grasp the idea of forever. And it's not a part of our reality anyway, because no one lives forever. And if this is all you get, this life, then this is forever, essentially, right? Because I'm not gonna experience anything else other than this life. So this is forever, from my perspective, given that there isn't any other side. I mean, there might very well be a God and a spiritual dimension to the universe. Or it might be just this, and then forever doesn't exist. It's a very complicated thing to get your head around. I can only try to grasp it from a egotistical perspective. But the only thing my brain can really help me discover is that the only thing that matters is here and now. The only people that matter to me are the people closest to me. And they mean everything, myself included. I think we should arrive at some conclusion regarding this fear of being forgotten. I will never experience being forgotten. And in the grand scheme of things, everyone is forgotten, no matter who you are. No one knows Jesus in the Andromeda galaxy, you know what I mean? And that's our closest galaxy. If we move farther than that, no one knows a single soul on this planet, as far as we know. So in that sense, everyone gets forgotten. And who knows, maybe there's a God and everything, and no one gets forgotten because of it. But one thing I am pretty sure of is that the only thing that really matters is here and now. And trying to spread something positive in the world, giving something good to another human being. That the good things stem from a good place. For example, me overcoming pain and giving what I've learned to someone else, that is using my intellect for good, or otherwise just out of good intention, trying to do something good for someone else. And who knows, maybe someone actually remembers me in 100 years. If that is the case, I won't be there to appreciate it, most likely. Then it means something to them, not to me. And if that fear of being forgotten only applies to me, then I'm never gonna forget myself. So that is just bullshit. Time to challenge everything we've been told about success, achievement, and what it means to truly live a meaningful life.
Let's get our head on rest.
So, from a scientific point of view, we have one or two very cool theories to look at. One of these is terror management theory. This was developed by Jeff Greenberg, Tom Pyszczynski, I think he is called, and Sheldon Solomon. The core concept is that humans create psychological defenses against mortality anxiety. So the key findings here are that people seek symbolic immortality through their achievements, creating lasting works, and connecting to something larger than themselves. This explains why humans obsess with legacy and recognition, and it demonstrates how fear of death drives creative and productive behaviors. In the realm of science, we also have neuroplasticity research, which explores the brain's ability to reshape itself through experiences. Key researchers like Norman Doidge and Michael Merzenich, I'm not sure how to say that. They have explored this, and the relevance this holds to achievement is personal growth happens through connections, not just individual achievements. Relationships and experiences physically modify the brain's structure. This challenges the traditional notion of individual success. We also have cultural perspectives. Japanese ikigai philosophy, meaning reason for being. Its components are what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. This contrasts with Western achievement by emphasizing holistic personal fulfillment, community contribution, and a balanced life purpose. We also have Buddhist impermanence philosophy. Its core concept is everything is in constant flux. The key principles: no permanent self-detachment from outcomes and present moment awareness. This also challenges Western achievement paradigms by rejecting ego-driven success, emphasizing inner peace, and valuing process over results. So these are just some of the cultural and scientific points of view. We also, generally speaking, have the indigenous models, which value collective success over individual recognition. But the let's get our head out of our ass is not the same as the nerd corners, who are not here to just discuss science and that kind of stuff, but also some key figures of different kinds, one of which is David Bowie. Now, he said transformation is more important than fixed achievement. Or he didn't say that, but that was generally what he believed. What he did say, and I quote, "I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring." So he always was moving ahead. His next thing was his biggest thing, always. Let's keep on going. Michelle Obama, she believed in impact over fame. She said, "Success isn't about how much money you make, it's about the difference you make in people's lives." That one is very powerful when we're talking about the meaning of life. As human beings, we strive to be a part of a community. We're social beings, and feeling that we contribute something is far more valuable than making a ton of money. Steve Jobs, one of the most influential figures of my lifetime, he said, or he looked at mortality as a lens for meaningful living. He said during a Stanford commencement speech that remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. That is very powerful. You really don't have anything to lose in this life by just trying. I try to tell this to my students all of the time, that you have to be brave enough to do something stupid, to say something wrong. Just today I had a math test with my students. I'm a math teacher, by the way, among teaching other subjects, and I told them, like, you straight up have to be brave enough to say something wrong, to do something wrong. If not, you're never gonna get anywhere. Steve Jobs was all about that, and he was also famous for being an asshole, the world's biggest asshole to his employees and colleagues. I'm not saying that is a good thing, but he said what was on his mind always. And he's the father of the iPhone, one of the biggest things in the 21st century. So what truly defines a life well lived? This one has been viewed from many angles by many different philosophers and famous people of all merits and all walks of life. But I do believe that as a human being we seek connection, and some people are more socially awkward than others, of course, and need more peace and time alone than other people do, but we all need to feel like we're a part of something. We all need to feel like we're a part of a community. That is one very important meaning of life. The most important question here is, how do we transcend societal achievement pressures? Because those are often very unhealthy. And they're all about becoming a rock star, getting rich, getting laid, and very superficial things that are not going to make you feel fulfilled in the long run. Just look at all the famous people who have killed themselves living that life. Kurt Cobain, Chester Bennington, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. That is not the meaning of life, and it's certainly not something that guarantees you happiness. As we close today, remember this: your worth isn't calculated by grand achievements or global recognition. It's measured by the genuine connections you create, the moments of kindness you share, and the small yet profound ways you touch the lives of the people around you. Your legacy isn't something you build, it's something you live, moment by moment, day by day, breath by breath. For example, I don't think my daughter is ever gonna remember what fantastic rapper I once was before she was born. That's not, if something happens to me, she's gonna remember her dad. The person I am right now, sitting down with her every single day to be her dad, having a good time with me, and all it implies. And the same thing applies to anyone in my life for that matter. Whether or not I make a ton of money all of a sudden, that is just superficial. It comes and it goes. I know one thing, that is that I'm trying to do things that feel like valuable contributions to me. And that's what I think that everyone should try to do. That's a wrap for this episode. If you found this episode meaningful and want to support my work, check out my Patreon. You'll get access to all episodes ad-free and some exclusive perks. Details are in the description. There's no achieving without believing, and every now and then we need to work a little bit with believing in ourselves. So we have a new member of our team, someone who's not afraid to force you into never thinking positive ever again, because you'll think of him. Please welcome the extremely irritating affirmations asshole.
Hey everyone, okay, just started a YouTube channel. Welcome to this channel. It's a place where you and I can get in touch with our souls, with our hearts, maybe, forgive ourselves. Excuse me, okay. So, what I need you to do for me right now is sit down. Just find a quiet spot. And I really need you to count to 3. So, I know a lot can get hard. You just need to smell the roses. We'll pray together. All right? Dear, whatever you may call God, Jesus, Allah, I don't know. Thank you. Thank you for waking indeed this morning and waking now. Thank you for giving me your heart, dear Jesus, Allah, Blue. Thank you. Now, please just close your eyes for me right now. What I want you to do, right, is you're just gonna imagine you're in a forest, all right? Surrounded by beautiful little butterflies. And repeat after me. I know I can't do it. I know there's a place for me. Okay? Bakashan, I know that solving in this world, in this space, in this universe, was not for me. I'm not afraid anymore. Just repeat that. Yeah. I'm not afraid anymore. I cherish the people around me. I know somebody loves me.
Shut up.